Hello, everyone. I really had been looking forward to being together today, and I'm glad that so many of you are able to join us virtually. The first thing that was occurring to me was that I want to, I think of love as being with. And when I'm being with somebody, especially when there's a lot going on, one of the reasons I wanted to have a gathering today is because, even saying happy holidays or Merry Christmas is this year is not quite on it because this has been a very challenging year for so many of us in so many ways that I wanted to give us a chance to be with all of the different things that are going on. And what was just occurring to me is to have you, like, if you're with somebody that you want to be with, um, I have a kind of a little wiggle. Like, if I want to be with somebody, I don't want to talk to them, I don't want to try and talk them into anything. I just kind of bump up against them a little bit, just kind of nudge them a little bit. And I'd like you to play for a little bit with your being with movement in your body. It could be a little shoulder shrug. It could be yes. It could be a wrapping. It could be a love scoop. But if the person is really back in there, I like to just kind of lean up against them. In Saturday Night Live, they used to have the noogies thing where you grab them, you just kind of give them noogies. But that sense of you can be however you are, and I'll be with you. And my sense is that is our presence is the greatest gift that we can give to ourselves and to others. And it occurred to me that I wanted to read to you, since we can say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, but this is really about the coming of the light and in the darkness, and our experience of being able to even just light our own light, and then be available to light someone else's light. And that's how the light spreads. So I wanted to read you, this is one of my favorite quotes from Ganga White. But I'd love to have you just let your body respond to, as you're, have eyes open or eyes closed, and let your body respond as much as you like. And so, what if our religion was each other? If our practice was our life? If prayer our words? What if the temple was the earth? If forests were our church? If holy water, the rivers, lakes, and ocean? What if meditation was our relationships? If the teacher was life? If wisdom was self-knowledge? If love was the center of our being? And instead of trying to create some kind of system that fits everybody, I love it that somebody is lit a light. Thank you. So, what I wanted to invite you to do is to alternate being with something in you, maybe something that's been difficult for you to be with this year, to let yourself be with that for just a moment, and then to take that same energy and send that to somebody in your life, whether they're here now or maybe no longer here, or someone who's located on the other side of the world, and then coming back to you and letting yourself be with, particularly your heart. Your heart has probably been fairly challenged this year. I know mine has. And letting yourself create that, here I am and I'm with you. When I do that, I find my breath opening, I find my body settling, and I find a kind of an opening. There are like little waves of movement that come through for me. So I want to invite you to be with any feelings that as you're coming into this holiday, this particular holiday, there are any feelings that have been difficult for you to be with. And I want to invite all of us, as you're being with a feeling, then you can invite that presence to somebody else who's on the call here. You might be looking at someone going, yeah, I can be with whatever you're feeling. And so you're shifting your attention from you to the other folks that are on the call, and then back to you. Any feelings that are actually expanding you. So it may not just be sorrow or things that you've been angry about, but it could be you're being invited into joy, and that's challenging, especially when so much is going on in the world that's awful. It's difficult to let yourself be joyous. So letting yourself be with that as well. And as I'm doing that, I find that my body is kind of unwinding. It wants to kind of spread out and, move in different directions. I like to let my attention drop into any of my feelings, and that can extend to anything going on in your body. So take a moment to just be with anything going on. Like my hands immediately went to my knees, which have been my big challenge this year. And so I'm rubbing my knees and appreciating how much my attention and love has been shifting my experience of the challenge. So letting yourself, and then notice if there's anybody in your life who's having challenging body stuff going on. People being ill, Gay having broken his leg twice, and just taking a moment to send that I'm here with me, and I'm here with you to those body sensations. And then bringing your attention back to you and noticing if there are any other body sensations that are going, hey, me too. I would like your attention. And for me, it's just that being with where there's that contact. I experience my attention having contact. And I want to invite you to notice that your attention is presence. And that as you give it to yourself and as you give it to others, it increases well, not just the light, but the space that we can all enjoy, that we can feel all of it, be with all of it, because that is part of the journey. And then I'd like you to let yourself notice if there are any recurring thoughts or memories that have come up for you during this holiday time that we're in. And I'd like you to give your loving attention to those. You might even give yourself little love drops, any place where you're feeling that gritchiness, maybe things that you haven't been willing to see. You could give yourself little drops of love. Thoughts that you've been having that have been going ring, ring, you could give them little drops of love. Yeah, noticing anything in your head and your neck and your shoulders that's maybe wanting some love scoops. And as you're doing that, you might feel like, oh, I have a friend. Like we have friends in various places all over the world who have various kinds of challenges going on. And sending that same new thoughts, new stories, new possibilities. And again, letting your body respond. I love how you're letting your body respond. And those of you who have lit candles, you can keep including those. I really appreciate all of the different ways that we can invite light into the places that also may be just emerging. So there may be something that has been percolating in you in the last months, and it's just beginning to emerge. And you can give it that kind of attention when something is budding. So here in Southern California, we already have some of our plants coming up, like some of the narcissus are coming up in the backyard. So those buds, yes, I know, early. Yes. So what is just emerging in you, giving it that kind of gentle, holding a baby kind of attention, like, oh, look what's coming. And then letting yourself give that kind of attention, because as I'm looking around, I'm drawn to give that attention to some of the folks on the call, and then also to people that you know or people that you don't know, that you want to support the budding of a new kind of energy, the budding of a new kind of story. And then I want to just invite you to let that love and attention circulate, letting it go out, noticing where it wants to go. It may want to go thousands of miles. It may want to just go next door. And then bringing it back to you and noticing where in you that wants to land. And I'm also finding that I want to pause. When I bring it back to me, I want to just pause for a moment and take a couple of breaths to that increased presence, increased ability to experience space, to experience connection. And I also want to have you ask yourself, is there anything that has been going on for you in this last period of time that's difficult for you to be with? Just identifying that and seeing if you'd be willing to gather some juice from all of this presence on the call. Just gather it in and give it to that place. Ooh, I got some streaming all the way down my body through my feet with that one. So give yourself a chance to notice how being with it actually makes a difference in your right now experience. Yeah, and then let yourself do that again. Notice if there's any place that's just still feeling a little parched or a little, and let yourself just reach out and gather, because there's all kinds of wonderful, loving attention here. So gathering it and then giving it to yourself however you want to. If you want to let it stream over you, if you want to wrap yourself in it, if you want to wiggle your way into it, and then letting yourself take a moment to be with, letting yourself receive. We talk about this as the time of giving. And in order for somebody to give, the receiver, the receiving can be really valuable. So let yourself be a receiver as well as a giver, because I know everybody here is more of a giver than you are a receiver. And so I want you to favor yourself for a moment, letting the gifts come to you, and then the overflow can come to others through you. Rhonda, I love that. Well, I don't know what that is. It's a pillow. Oh, that's so cool. A pillow that's kind of a teddy bear. That's really wonderful. Thank you, all of you, for providing all of this visual stimulus too, and the lights and the movements and the spontaneous ways that you've been celebrating here with us. So I want to invite you today and over the coming days as we're moving into the new year, to let yourself come back to grounding yourself in this easy exchange of being with. So the last thing I want you to do is just go ahead and rub your hands together, being with. It was a couple of years ago when I realized that I can feel myself feeling myself, which I know sounds very weird, but I can notice the quality of my hands. And when I rub my hands together, the gentleness, the being with that I experience, and also the energy that I can create. And then giving that energy to any place in you that just wants just a little bit more attention. And I want to invite you to be giving yourself as much or more attention as you're giving to others, especially today. And I want to pull up our Presence Connect play and see what we got for today. Presence Fear Melters. So this is a great time. Even if you don't think you're scared, there's a lot going on. And we can also get scared when we're upper limiting of how much we can receive. And I found that the fear melters, oozing and rooting and wiggling and love scooping are wonderful ways to open more space for giving and receiving. So I love and it creates presence. So it allows me to move from withdrawal to connection. So under connect, it says, choose to see others as allies on your team. So this is a time of year where that can be challenging. The people that you're around during the holiday seasons, you may not experience them as particularly your allies. And would you be willing to see others that are close to you and are not close to you as your allies? And notice what kind of opening that creates in you. That was the commitment that made the biggest difference for me in shifting my relationship with Gay to being one of really being partners. My willingness to see him as my ally rather than as the guy who was always criticizing me. So I grew up in a real critical environment. And so that was how I tended to see my interaction. So if any of you have any of that kind of criticism in your background, you can choose to see others as allies and notice then how that shifts your relationships with others. And then the last one, I'm pulling up my phone again for play. Is get way faster and then get way slower. So this is, the holiday rush. So first, like, oh my God, I have to get my own, and I didn't get my, and I didn't wrap that, and let's just, and then get way slower. Nothing to do. I can just spread out. I can go outside for a walk. This is one way. When you get way faster and way slower is another way that you can find your essence pace, the pace that allows you to be aware of you and aware of what's going on around you. So putting those into action this week can help to build that space of giving and receiving. So I want to again appreciate you all for showing up to connect with each other. It's been a delight to be with you. And I want to invite you to stay for some big talk if that would be of value to you. And I'm going to go off now to open some stocking presents. So I look forward to seeing you in the new year. All right. Much love. Bye now.
Thank you, Katie.